Hello Willy Thistlers, it's Rachel from Barkland Croft here in Fair Isle. Thank you so much for all the comments in my last couple of videos for the Willy Thistle. I really do appreciate them and your support. And I had a couple of questions, so I thought I'd just answer those now. One of them was, what inspired you to move to Fair Isle and then to stay there? Well, I originally came to Fair Isle in 2014 to do a season working as the assistant cook at the Bird Observatory. So that was from sort of, I think it was May to end of October, beginning of November time. And after that period I had nothing else lined up. And whilst I was here on the Isle, obviously got to know everyone pretty quickly given how small the Isle is. And people started saying, well, you know, have you thought about moving here? The house that I now live in was actually belonged to the cook and her family when I was working at the observatory, and they were in the process of leaving the Isle. So the house and the croft became vacant. And so it was never, I always feel like I disappoint people when I say this, but it was never my dream to move to a remote island to take on sheep or anything like that. It just happened to be a good opportunity at the time that was too good to pass up on, really. And what's kept me here, financial reasons, to be honest with you. It's really not an easy life, and I do not mind hard work at all. I've worked hard all my life. I don't, you know, looking after the sheep is kind of, yes, it's physically hard, but that's the best bit about living here, is the sheep. It's dealing with people, dealing with the island politics, all that kind of thing that is the really hard part of living here. And it does get to you year after year after year. So what keeps me here? Yes, you know, there are plenty of days when I would love to pack my belongings and leave, but I can't afford, you know, there's no way I can afford to take me and my sheep off the Isle and find somewhere else to stay. It's just not, you know, financially viable. So for the time being, we're stuck here, and that's pretty much what keeps me here. And following on from that, one of the comments I did have in one of my recent videos, after showing all the damage that had been done by the gales, someone had said, you know, did I think it was time to leave? Yes, it is time to leave. It has been for a long time, but again, it's purely finances. To give you an example of the kind of money I would need to have for me to get something, so similar sized house, similar acreage of land, outbuildings. In England, just recently, a smaller house than I have, smaller acreage of land, and I think about the same number of outbuildings came up onto the market, and that was just shy of £1 million. Scotland is cheaper. Shetland is probably the cheapest of all, but even here in Shetland, to take on a croft and house of the similar size, you're looking at £350,000. The Western Isles are a bit more expensive. You're looking at probably around £400,000. Scottish mainland, upwards of £500,000. If obviously that's to buy. If I was to look at somewhere for renting, the same kind of thing that I have here, even in sort of the cheapest parts of Scotland and the Isles, for this sort of size land and house, you're looking at over £1,000 a month, and I don't even earn that as it is here, so there's no hope for me. So I just thought I'd do you a quick update about the damage and repairs here, since a lot of you have been asking. The boiler got fixed. The plumber came in, so I have hot water and central heating again, which is great. He also managed to fix the flush on my loo, so after several months I now have a loo that flushes, which again is great. Unfortunately, the trust say their position is that the greenhouse and garage that all of the windows blew out of are outbuildings, and apparently they're not responsible for them. So seeing as I pay them to rent all of this, I'm not sure who is responsible for them, but it seems to be they're saying it's my responsibility. So we'll have to go back to the drawing board on that one. But the major things in terms of inside the house, they are thankfully all fixed, which is great. And I can't believe it's been a year since I started up my Patreon and sheep adoption schemes, and I really can't thank you all enough for the support you've given me and the sheep over the past year, and to Corinne and Maggie for allowing me to use this as a platform to kind of share those options. And I just wanted to give you an update on the sheep adoption scheme. So many of you adopted sheep around about this time last year, and originally I'd said the adoptions would run sort of on an annual basis, so you would adopt sheep and that period would last for 1 year. However, it's taken me so long to make the update videos for your sheep that I'm completely behind schedule. So I just wanted to let you know, because I've had a few questions emailed to me about this. If you currently have a sheep adoption, say from March or April, whenever last year, and you think it's about to end, it's not. Don't worry. I'm going to carry them all on until you have received your last update video. So given how long it's taken me, that's probably going to be another few months' time. But I'll be sure to keep you updated, and when I send you your last update video for your sheep, I'll be sure to let you know what the options are for if you want to adopt another sheep or re-adopt that same sheep or whatever. So don't panic, I will keep you updated, but for now your adoptions are still ongoing until you get the last video update from your sheep. One thing that I haven't spoken about for quite a while now is knitting, and do you know what? I just haven't been knitting. I know that's an awful thing to admit and I should hang my head in shame, but I was having this conversation with a friend in Shetland who's also a knitter a while ago, and we were both just saying we just kind of lost our knitting mojo for a while. And it's not that I've had nothing to knit. I've had several projects that I've got, and I've got the patterns for, I've got the yarn for, I'm literally ready to go, and they're all things that I want to knit. I just haven't really been feeling in the mood for it. Until I saw, I think it was a couple of shop casts ago, and Maggie had knit a gorgeous cosy looking pair of socks, which I think she'd used West Yorkshire Spinners sock yarn held double, and she sort of held them up and taught, and they just looked so warm and cosy and lovely. And I thought, do you know what, it wouldn't take me long to knit a pair of socks. And so I had a look through my stash, and I actually found an old ball of, it's not the same colourway that Maggie used, but it is a West Yorkshire Spinners, and it's their Hollyberry colourway. So it's another one of their kind of festive yarns that they put out. And this is a, I can't even see, 4-ply. So that's a 4-ply. Socks that I've knit in the past, I quite like knitting with Aran weight yarn. It just makes it go a bit quicker. So what I did was I held this double with a bit of leftover Beecroft Busby yarn that I had from a couple of years ago, and I knit these kind of chunky looking socks. So I'm really pleased with them. They are so warm, and it's probably just as well we don't have smelly vision, because I've been wearing these as bed socks for the last week or so, and they've kept my feet so toasty and warm at night. So thank you for inspiring me, Maggie. And since then I have cast on another project. I don't know if you'll be able to see the printout isn't very good, but this one is called the Murray Star and it's by Di Gilpin. And I got this pattern years ago, sort of as a pattern kit with the yarn as well. And when it came, I didn't realise before I bought it, but the pattern is only for one size. It was only ever written for one size, for a 36-inch bust. And I thought, well, there's no hope me fitting into that. So it kind of got put in a bag for a while, and then a couple of years, maybe a bit longer ago, I saw in the Knitter magazine they did a feature about it, and they rewrote the pattern for, I think it's about 6 different sizes now, which is fantastic. So I needed to order a bit extra yarn, but hopefully it'll all match up. And I've made a start, and the yarn I'm using is this Storm Petrol colourway. Hopefully you can see that. And it's Di Gilpin's own Laland yarn, which is 100% Scottish lamb's wool, and it's a DK weight. And I am on the rib, and the rib has to be 14 centimetres deep. I think this has taken me about 2 weeks so far. I am such a slow knitter, well, at the best of times, but especially on switching between knit to purl. Oh, it takes me, I think this has taken me about 2 weeks just to get this far, and I still have about 4 centimetres to go yet. I was so tempted to do the rib on my ribbing attachment for my knitting machine, but the yarn, I don't know if you'll be able to see. Oh, I'm just throwing it on the floor now. It's very, very loosely plied, and I'm finding it I mean, it's lovely knitted up, it's lovely, it's beautifully soft, but it splits quite a lot. And so when I tried to put it through my knitting machine and ribbing attachment, the whole thing just mangled up into a tangle. So I've had to do it by hand. So it's a good lesson in patience. Well, March got off to a beautiful start with a sunny day here in Fair Isle, and how glad we were for it. Here's Patchwork. She doesn't normally live in this field, but she's come over because she has an abscess on her back hoof there, or just above the hoof. So she's getting medication, and she's much better now. There we've got Brownie behind her. Naughty boy Busby patrolling the fence, looking for any ways he can get in. There's Sandy, she's my blind yow. She's doing brilliantly. And one of the hens stopped by to say hello too. If you look very closely, you can just see the grass starting to grow. I can't tell you how excited I am at that, and Meg too by the looks of things. So yes, hopefully all we need now is a lot more sunshine and some dry days. Sadly, that wasn't meant to be, and it looked like our day of sunshine was a one-off as we went back to several days of rain and gales. However, it wasn't too long before we got another absolutely beautiful day. Just look at it. The sheep were all enjoying it. You can see them all lying down and sunbathing. There's Patchwork saying hello. steaming up the camera. And look what's appeared. The first frog spawn in the pond. So that's very exciting. That always makes me feel like spring must be here. I definitely made the most of that day, as the following day, you've guessed it, the weather turned again. Thankfully, it wasn't too long before we got another lovely day, and Ruffalo decided to accompany me out into the fields to check on the sheep. It's been a long time since she's been out with me. Here's Miss Marple taking great interest in Ruffalo, trying to eat her tail by the looks of things. My first daffodils bloomed, but as so often happens, as soon as they come into flower, we get gales and they get knocked down. So I bring them inside and it's lovely to watch them bloom on the windowsills. Just as the weather was looking like it was improving and spring was here, we got a day of snow showers. Would you believe it? Thankfully it didn't last though, but then we got loads of rain and all the fields, which had been really starting to dry out and harden up, went back to a mud bath. Ugh, feels like it'll never end. On a completely different note, you may have heard me talk about my sister. She and her husband live in Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania, and just a couple of weeks ago she got her American citizenship. So I'm really pleased for her, and huge congratulations to you, Alex. I got sent a little lamb toy for Easter. So here's Rosebud and her new friend wishing you all a very happy Easter, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.